I saw that you had almost gotten the role for Captain America. Is that correct?
Wow, you really know how to bring up old wounds. Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was wondering if there was any other near misses like that roles that you wish you'd gotten, or
No, I don't know. And
like
it's funny because I really mean it when I say I grew up a realist. I give credit to my parents for always making sure that we weren't had an overly inflated sense of self. I always knew where I stood on things. So it was one of those things where I got the call and they said, you know, you're not Captain America, Chris Evans is. And my response was, yeah, look at him. I mean, he is Captain America. That's who I want to see play Captain America. So it was not one of those things where I wish I had it. I'm so glad he's done that. I don't think there are any other near misses. Or maybe there are and I'm just not thinking of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I could just make some up.
You were potentially going to play Black Widow.
Yes.
In hindsight, are you relieved about that? Because
Yes.
if you were doing it, you wouldn't have been able to do this.
I don't think I would have been able to do a lot of the projects that I really have loved doing, and I think that was a nerve-wracking prospect for me to not have the freedom to choose, and the choices I have are often all I have, so you can't really plan on anything else. You can't predict what's going to happen, what films are going to catch fire, what's not. So if I make the choice for me, and not because I'm contracted, I think that was going to be an exciting prospect.
You were up for the role of Captain America. In hindsight, are you glad you didn't get that role because A Quiet Place might not exist?
That's really interesting. I think A Quiet Place definitely wouldn't exist. I mean, I think there are benefits in, obviously, Chris Evans seems to be having a great time. I love Chris, and I've been a friend of his for a while, and you know, those movies are so much fun, and I love watching them. I've been to every single one. I always tell him I'm first in line to see his new movies. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's one of those things where you just, you know, that very Zen thing of let your life take you where it may, and I never would have been here if I had gotten Captain America, and I'd never thought about that. You just broke my brain. I just realized that right now.
Obviously, Emily was up for Black Widow at one stage. Was it weird to watch The Winter Soldier and think, that could have been us?
Again, I never thought about it, and now I'm like, oh my God, we could have been in that movie together instead of this. No, I mean, to me, this movie, working with her, I don't know if I've ever had a better collaboration, and certainly this in particular. We've always talked about working together, but we didn't want the story of our marriage to supersede whatever story was being told. This one's pretty out there, so we were safe. But also more than that, I think being married in this movie really helped us specifically, not just because it's a cool thing to work together. It was this idea of, you know, spouses having a secret language, and in this movie, it's the only language you can use.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. As well chronicled at this point, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, both almost in the MCU as Captain America and Black Widow, respectively. And now that all of these headlines are leaking out about Marvel Phase 5 and the earliest parts of pre-production for the Fantastic Four, one can't help but wonder if Marvel Studios won't actually make good on one of the most commonly held fan rumors that John Krasinski and Emily Blunt could be up to play spouses in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Reed Richards and Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Now, a report yesterday from one of the more trusted Marvel insiders seems to implicate just that. We're going to break down what the report said, how long this has been going back, the rumor that these two are going to take up the role as a couple in the MCU, and what it would mean for Marvel going forward if these two decide to join the project. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel-related stuff. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So the fan rumor, or fan wish, depending on how you want to look at it, of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as Reed Richards and Sue Storm in the MCU actually goes back since before I was a YouTuber, and definitely before the rights bounced back to Marvel Studios, making their casting a real possibility. The original rumor probably stemming from the fact that both of them were tied to Marvel roles in the past. John Krasinski famously read for Captain America, as you heard by his quotes in the prologue to this video, as well as his wife Emily Blunt reading for both Black Widow and Peggy Carter, with the rumor at the time being she couldn't take the role of Black Widow because of a conflict with the remake for Gulliver's Travels. Now, yesterday, an insider named Charlie Murphy, who is well respected and has a better track record than most, tweeted some not so cryptic message yesterday. First, Black Widow played by ScarJo in her first appearance. We also see Peggy Carter here. Remember, these are the 2 roles that Emily Blunt initially read for. And then a picture of a Storm. Now, please don't be confused. This doesn't mean Storm from the X-Men, but rather Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four, implying as much. Now, he may just be stirring the pot. As I said, this isn't brand new news, but the Fantastic Four have been all over the headlines, all of the different Marvel Hollywood trades, sites like my own, reporting on all these leaks coming out, all these earliest stages of pre-production, the wheels starting to turn. One of the most important things you have to do is make the main casting, and if they haven't done that yet, you can be assured that they're going to have to start doing that soon with all these new headlines about the Fantastic Four, knowing that they're about to be sent to the early stages of pre-production, and then the timing of this tweet makes it just a little bit interesting. The bigger picture though, you may have heard Emily Blunt slyly mentioned there in the beginning in the prologue of this video during her interview, and it's why I specifically chose that clip, talking about all the things you can't do when you get tied up in a Marvel franchise, what that means for your career as an actor, and why some of these big names don't automatically jump at the opportunity to take up a lead role in one of these Marvel franchises. For a relative no-name, no offense given to Simu Liu, for someone who's a much lower profile actor, getting a role like Shang-Chi would be undoubtedly life and career changing, and you could see why they would tweet at the studio and try and get that role. But for some of these bigger actors, and especially someone like John Krasinski, who's now on both sides of the camera directing projects as well as acting in them, for someone who has a TV contract like he does as Jack Ryan, there's so many moving parts to his career. When you sign up to be Reed Richards, you're telling Marvel Studios, yes, I'll sign a 7-picture contract, I'll sign a 10-picture contract, I'll be around for the next decade whenever you need me on these giant shoots for Secret Wars when it comes around, to lock you down for part 1 and part 2 for the better part of 24 months, which is exactly what happened when they shot Infinity War and Avengers Endgame concurrently. If you go ahead and tack at least another 4 to 6 months on press tour between the two movies combined, that's almost 3 full years of your career given to one single franchise. Now, for a big name actor and director, that can still be life-changing, but when you have aspirations to do all sorts of things or have contractual agreements with TV shows that have multiple series, it's not as easy as just opting into some of that. Now, when you heard Emily Blunt say in the prologue as well, again, why I chose these specific quotes, that you can't count on anything, you can't plan on it being such a success, that's why she doesn't rue the fact that she didn't take the role as Black Widow or regret anything. And then they both went on to say in the later parts of their interviews in the prologue that they recognized that had they done that, or one of them done that, then it would have precluded them from doing other things, namely A Quiet Place, which incidentally was an introduction to how well their on-screen chemistry translated from the real-life marriage, meaning Marvel fans hoping they could do the exact same thing in the MCU. It's going to be interesting to see if these actors want to do it, and it's also been particularly quiet when it comes to casting for the two of these. There's been almost no other names mentioned exclusively, which is interesting because we've heard all sorts of names mentioned, from smaller roles like Moon Knight all the way up to big names like Wolverine. We've had at least 3 or 4 people named, Adam Warlock. These big roles have had actors come up again and again and again, but for Sue Storm and Reed Richards, we've heard nothing except for the fan art that continues to populate the internet seemingly every week with a new picture of John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, again as Sue Storm and Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four. One final thought to take away about lead roles in the MCU and how they're cast. Marvel has had a lot of success putting people in main roles that maybe shouldn't have, or I shouldn't use that word, maybe wouldn't have gotten that spot in other places. Namely, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. No one would have ever thought, looking at his earlier work or his reel maybe 2 or 3 years before starring in that movie, that he would become a great action star, and he's awesome. I love Chris Pratt, but that's not the way that normal studios would have gone. Marvel Studios' James Gunn wasn't afraid to make that move. Same with Robert Downey Jr. When they cast him as Iron Man, he was sort of cast out of the industry given his woes with drugs and where he was in his career. Some people considered him uncastable, and then you look at the role of Spider-Man being given to a relative unknown like Tom Holland. He had been in major motion pictures and had some modicum of success to speak of, but wasn't the household name that he is now. My main point being is that Marvel has found success casting the right person for the right role, regardless of where they're at in their career or who they are as an actor, unknown or a big star, be it at that. They've cast the right person in the right role. They seem to have the secret sauce, so it doesn't take big names like John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to pull off the Fantastic Four. And if we find out they cast 2 relative unknowns for this role, I've got just as much faith in them to do an awesome movie as I did before. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this, specifically these two playing these 2 characters in the MCU. And if you're not for it and have a different idea who should be cast, I'm all ears. Leave it in the comments comments, and quickly let's get into the giveaway stuff. Before I let you go, we're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 500,000 subscriber mark. We are headlong into that and will easily hit that by month's end. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video. It'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the stuff we're giving away at the channel. Like next week throughout the holiday season, we'll be announcing 2 limited edition Infinity Saga box sets. Those things are like more expensive than the PlayStations. We'll be giving away a couple here at the channel. All the same rules apply for that, the PlayStations, or any of the smaller prizes we give away throughout the rest of the year. It's this simple. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.